けます。to turn on. For example, 電気をつけます。to turn on the light. 消します。to turn off. エアコンを消します。to turn off the AC. 開けます。to open. 窓を開けます。to open the window. 閉めます。to close. ドアを閉めます。to close the door. 急ぎます。to hurry. 急いでください。Please hurry up. 待ちます。to wait. ちょっと待ってください。Please wait a moment. 持ちます。to hold, to carry. 荷物を持ちましょうか。Shall I carry your luggage? 取ります。to grab, to take. お塩を取ってください。Please pass me the salt. 手伝います。to help. 私の宿題を手伝ってください。Please help me with my homework. 呼びます。to call, to summon. たかしと呼んでください。Please call me たかし。But be careful, to call someone on a phone is 電話をかけます or 電話をします。話します。to speak, to talk. ゆっくり話してください。Please speak slowly. 使います。to use. これを使ってください。Please use this. 止めます。to stop, to park. あそこに車を止めてください。Please park the car over there. 見せます。to show. パスポートを見せてください。Please show your passport. 教えます。to teach, to tell. 名前を教えてください。Please tell me your name. 座ります。to sit. このソファーに座ってください。Please sit on this sofa. 立ちます。to stand. 立ってください。Please stand up. 入ります。to enter. It's one of the group 1 verbs with いる ending. I will explain what that means in the grammar section of this video. カフェに入ります。to enter a cafe. 出ます。to go out, to leave, to exit. カフェを出ます。to leave a cafe. 降ります。to fall, to come down. 雨が降ります。It rains. コピー a copy. コピーをします。to make a copy. これをコピーしてください。Please make a copy of this. 電気 electricity, light. エアコン air conditioner. パスポート passport. 名前 name 住所 address 地図 map 塩 salt 砂糖 sugar 問題 question, problem, trouble. But be careful, it refers to questions on a test or the like. But regular questions that you ask because you want to know something are 質問. I have a question is 質問があります。答え answer この問題の答えは何ですか？ What's the answer to this question? お釣り change 300円のお釣りです。Your change is 300 yen. Verb plus 型 How to do the verb. この漢字の読み方を教えてください。Please tell me how to read this 漢字。東京駅の行き方を教えてください。Please tell me how to get to Tokyo Station. まっすぐ straight まっすぐ行ってください。Please go straight. ゆっくり slowly ゆっくり話してください。Please speak slowly. すぐ immediately すぐ来てください。Please come immediately. また again また話しましょう。Let's talk again. 後で later 後でそこに行きましょう。Let's go there later. もう少し a little more もう少しゆっくり話してください。Please speak a little more slowly. もう more もう一回お願いします。Could you repeat that once more? これをもう一つください。Can I have one more of this? もう3分待ってください。Please wait 3 more minutes. Alright, now let's move on to grammar. We have learned quite a few verbs so far. In Minna no Nihongo, we have learned all verbs in mas form. And this chapter of Minna no Nihongo teaches you how to conjugate verbs from mas form to te form. And it's going to be difficult. Yeah, making the te form is definitely not easy. But mastering the te form is very important because using the te form, you get to express a lot of things. By the way, this mas form is actually not the original form of verbs. The original form of verbs is called the dictionary form. When you look up a verb in the dictionary, they give you this dictionary form. Textbooks like Genki teach all verbs in this dictionary form. But you want to use this mas form when you want to speak politely. Today, I will teach you not only how to conjugate verbs from mas form to te form, but also from dictionary form to te form, for those who have learned verbs in the dictionary form. You don't have to remember both ways, though. If you keep using Minna no Nihongo, then master this way first. And you can even skip the part where I teach this one. And I will also teach you how to conjugate verbs from dictionary form to mas form, and also from mas form to dictionary form. However, just so you know, this chapter of Minna no Nihongo only covers this conjugation. If you want to learn only what this chapter of Minna no Nihongo covers, you can skip the part where I explain these conjugations. Alright, let's get to it. So let's first learn how to conjugate verbs from mas form to te form. And the first step of that is identifying the verb groups. So all verbs in Japanese can be categorized into 3 verb groups. Group 1, aka godan verbs or u verbs. Group 2, aka ichidan verbs or ru verbs. And group 3, aka irregular verbs. And here's the thing, each group conjugates differently. So the first step of conquering TEF form is learning how to identify which verb group a verb belongs to. We're going to start with group 3, which is the easiest one because there are only 2 group 3 verbs. Shimasu, to do, and kimasu, to come. That's it. There's nothing else. But this shimasu includes all suru verbs too, which are composed of a noun and shimasu. For example, 勉強します, to study. Next, group 1. Group 1 verbs always end with I vowel sound plus mas. 買います、飲みます、行きます、貸します. Again, group 1 verbs always end with I vowel sound plus mas. Lastly, group 2. Group 2 verbs almost always end with e vowel sound plus mas. 食べます、教えます、あげます. However, I hate to say this, but there are some exceptions. Some group 2 verbs end with I mas. Most group 2 verbs end with e mas. However, some of them end with I mas, such as 見ます to watch, 起きます to wake up, います to exist, 借ります to borrow, and more. And unfortunately, there is no pattern, so you just have to memorize these exceptions. But the good news is that among the verbs we have already learned up to this chapter, only these 4 verbs are the exceptions. So for now, just try to remember these 4 words. And when we come across more exceptions in future lessons, I will make sure to let you guys know each time. And that's all for how to identify the verb groups. Let me summarize what we just learned. To identify which verb group a verb belongs to, follow the following steps. Step 1. If it's either shimasu or kimasu, then it's group 3. Step 2. If it ends with emasu, then it's always group 2. Step 3. If it ends with imasu, then it's group 1, unless it's one of the exceptions. These trolling exceptions belong to group 2. Alright, let's practice. 食べます, to eat. Which verb group do you think it belongs to? It's got the mas ending, so it's group 2. How about あります, to exist? It's got the imas ending, so it's group 1. How about 起きます, to wake up? It's got the imasu ending, however, it's one of the exceptions. Therefore, it's group 2. How about 話します, to speak? It's got shimasu, however, this shimasu does not mean to do. 話します means to speak, and it just happens to end with the shimasu sound. So because it's got the imasu ending, it's group 1. But words like 結婚します. Now this shimasu does mean to do. 結婚 is marriage, so 結婚します is to do marriage, which basically means to marry. Therefore, it's a group 3 verb. Alright, now we're ready to learn how to make the te form. If it's a group 2 or group 3 verb, then making the te form is very easy. All you have to do is to change masu to te. That's it. 食べて、教えて、あげて、見て、して、来て. If it's a group 1 verb, then it's a pain in the butt, because you have to remember this whole chart. If it ends with います, します, or ります, then replace them with the small つ and て. 買います、買って、待ちます、待って、帰ります、帰って. If it ends with 見ます、見ます, or にます, Then replace them with んで。飲みます。飲んで。呼びます。呼んで。死にます。死んで。If it ends with 来ます、then replace it with いて。書きます。書いて。However, 行きます to go is an exception. The te form of 行きます is not いて, but it's 行って。行きます。行って。If it ends with 来ます、then replace it with いで。急ぎます。急いで。If it ends with します、then replace it with して。貸します。貸して。Alright, now let's practice. Make the te form of these verbs. If you like more time, please pause the video. 聞きます。聞いて。来ます。来て。教えます。教えて。あります。あって。勉強します。勉強して。読みます。読んで。借ります。It's a group 2 verb with the います ending. 借りて。います。It's also a group 2 verb with the います ending. So, いて. Alright, good job. Now let me quickly teach you how to conjugate verbs from the must form to the dictionary form. How to make the dictionary form from the must form. For group 1 verbs, change the います ending to う vowel sound. 買います。買う。飲みます。飲む。行きます。行く。待ちます。待つ。For group 2 verbs, change the ます to る。食べます。食べる。教えます。教える。あげます。あげる。見ます。見る。Group 3 verbs conjugate irregularly, so you just have to memorize the dictionary form of します is する, and the dictionary form of 来ます is 来る. Okay? Okay, so that's that for how to conjugate verbs from the must form to the dictionary form. Alright, now we're going to learn how to make the te form from the dictionary form. If you're not interested in this, you can skip this section. The overall steps are going to be mostly the same as the must form. The first step is, again, to identify the verb groups. We're going to start with group 3. There are only two group 3 verbs, する to do, and 来る to come. That's it. There are only two. And group 2 verbs always end with either え vowel sound plus る or い vowel sound plus る。食べる、起きる、あげる、見る. And everything else is group 1, such as 買う、飲む、行く. However, as usual, there are some exceptions. There are some group 1 verbs that end with える or いる, such as 帰る to return, 知る to know, 入る to enter, 切る to cut, and more. But among the verbs we have already learned so far, only these 4 verbs are the exceptions. So for now, just try to remember these 4. Try to remember them with their meanings. Because words that have the same pronunciation may belong to different verb groups. For example, if it's kiru, to cut, then it's group 1. But if it's kiru, to wear, then it's group 2. Alright, let me summarize. To identify the verb groups from the dictionary form, follow the following steps. Step 1. If it's either する or 来る, then it's group 3. Step 2. If it ends with either 得る or いる, then it's group 2, unless it's one of the exceptions. and everything else is group 1. Alright, let's practice. Which verb group do you think 食べる to eat belongs to? It's got the る ending, so it's group 2. How about 散歩する to take a walk? It's one of the する verbs, which are noun plus する, so it's group 3. How about 入る to enter? It's got the いる ending, but it's one of the exceptions, so it's group 1. Lastly, 送る to send. None of them applies to this one, so it's group 1. Alright, now we're ready to learn how to make the dead form from the dictionary form. We're going to start with group 3. For group 3, you just have to memorize that the dead form of する is して and the dead form of 来る is 来て. For group 2 verbs, you change the final る to て. That's it. 食べる、食べて、起きる、起きて、あげる、あげて、見る、見て. And for group 1 verbs, うつる change to て、買う、買って、待つ、待って、帰る、帰って、むぶぬ change to んで、飲む、飲んで、呼ぶ、呼んで、死ぬ、死んで、く changes to いて、書く、書いて. But 行く to go is an exception. Even though it ends with く, the te form of 行く is 行って、行く、行って. ぐ changes to いで、急ぐ、急いで. And す changes to して、貸す、貸して. Alright, let's practice. Can you make the te form of these verbs? 遊ぶ、遊んで、来る、来て、閉める、閉めて、泳ぐ、泳いで、散歩する、散歩して、知る. It's one of the exceptions. 知って、見る、見て、帰る. It's also one of the exceptions. 帰って. Alright, lastly, let's learn how to conjugate verbs from dictionary form to mas form. For group 1, change the u vowel sound to the i vowel sound and add ます. 買う、買います。飲む、飲みます。行く、行きます。帰る、帰ります。For group 2, change the る to ます。食べる、食べます。起きる、起きます。あげる、あげます。見る、見ます。Group 3 verbs conjugate irregularly, so you just have to memorize that the mas form of する is します and the mas form of 来る is 来ます. Alright, we learned how to do every one of these conjugations. Now that we know how to make the te form, let's learn 2 usages of the te form. Verb in te form plus ください. Please do the verb. Verb in te form plus ください is how we say please do the verb. How'd you say please eat? To eat is 食べる or 食べます. It's a group 2 verb. So the te form is 食べて. So 食べてください. 食べてください. In a very casual conversation, you can drop the ください part and just say 食べて, 食べて. That's how you say please eat in a very casual way. But if you want to sound polite, you always want to add ください. How would you say these sentences? If you need more time, please pause the video. Please come to my house. To come is 来る or 来ます. It's a group 3 verb. The tet form is 来て. 私の家に来てください. 私の家に来てください. Please sit here. To sit is 座る or 座ります. It's group 1. So the tet form is 座って. ここに座ってください. ここに座ってください. Please look at this. To look is 見る or 見ます. It's one of the group 2 verbs with the います ending. And the tet form is 見て. これを見てください. これを見てください. This tet form plus ください is often used with すみませんが, which means excuse me. This が here at the end is optional. Excuse me, please take a picture of us. すみませんが、私たちの写真を撮ってください。すみません、私たちの写真を撮ってください。I'm sorry, but please wait a little bit. すみませんが、少し待ってください。すみません、少し待ってください。Let's learn one more usage of the tet form. Verb in tet form plus います expresses continuous action. If you want to say I am doing something right now, use this grammar point. Verb in the tet form plus います. For example, I am eating. To eat is 食べる or 食べます and it's group 2. So the tet form is 食べて. Therefore, 食べています. 食べています. One note. We often omit the い in the ています, especially in conversation and casual writing. So we also often just say 食べてます. 食べてます. And one more note. So again, this ています can express actions that are happening at the moment. But actually, that's not all. It has many more usages. But we're going to learn them in the next lesson. In this lesson, we will focus on practicing this usage. How would you say, what are you doing now? To do is する or します. And it's group 3. The tet form is して. So, 今何をしていますか? 今何をしていますか? I'm not eating is 食べていません. 食べていません. I was eating is 食べていました. 食べていました. I was not eating is 食べていませんでした. 食べていませんでした. I'm drinking coffee. コーヒーを飲んでいます。コーヒーを飲んでいます。It's raining now. 今、雨が降っています。今、雨が降っています。I'm hanging out with my friends. 友達と遊んでいます。友達と遊んでいます。My dad is fishing in the river. 父は川で釣りをしています。父は川で釣りをしています。What were you doing last night? 昨日の夜は何をしていましたか? 昨日の夜は何をしていましたか? I was reading a book until 11. 11時まで本を読んでいました。11時まで本を読んでいました。I'm sorry, I was not listening. すみません、聞いていませんでした。or ごめんなさい、聞いていませんでした。 verb ましょうか Shall I do the verb? Verb ましょうか means shall I do the verb? Or depending on the context, it can also mean shall we do the verb? The conjugation is very easy. Just forget the te form for this one. Just change ます to ましょうか Shall I close the door? Do you want me to close the door? Is ドアを閉めましょうかドアを閉めましょうか Yes, please. はい、お願いします。No, thank you. いいえ、結構です。Or I usually go, いいえ、大丈夫です。いいえ、大丈夫です。Shall I come tomorrow again? 明日も来ましょうか明日も来ましょうか Yes, please. Please come at 10 a.m. はい、お願いします。午前10時に来てください。はい、お願いします。午前10時に来てください。Shall we meet at Shibuya Station? 渋谷駅で会いましょうか渋谷駅で会いましょうか Yes, let's do that. はい、渋谷駅で会いましょう。Or はい、そうしましょう。Excuse me, please tell me how to get to Tokyo Station. すみませんが、東京駅の行き方を教えてください。すみませんが、東京駅の行き方を教えてください。Shall I draw a map for you? 地図を書きましょうか地図を書きましょうか Yes, please. はい、お願いします。はい、お願いします。Alright, that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching till the end. 今日も最後まで見てくれて本当にありがとうございました。In the next lesson, we're gonna keep learning more usages of the te form. Alright, じゃあまたね。